Mark Drakeford Labour. The 2021 Senedd election took place on Thursday, the 6th of May, 2021 to elect 60 members to Senedd Cymru, the Welsh Parliament. It was the sixth general election since the Senedd was established in 1999. The election was held alongside the UK local elections, London Assembly election, and Scottish Parliament election. It was the first election in which 16 and 17-year-olds and legally resident foreign nationals are allowed to vote in Wales, the largest extension of the franchise in Wales since 1969. Both changes were a result of the Senedd and Elections Act 2020. 5 parties had members of the Senedd gained and MS elected for Plaid Cymru in 2016. In elections for the Senedd, using the additional member system, each voter has 2 votes. The first vote is for a member for the voter's constituency, elected by the first past the post system. The second vote is for a regional closed party list of candidates. Additional member seats are allocated from the lists by the Daunt method, with constituency results being taken into account in the allocation. The overall result is approximately proportional. Under the Wales Act 2014, a candidate is allowed to stand in both a constituency and a regional list. However, holding a dual mandate with the House of Commons is illegal, meaning a member of the Senedd cannot also be an MP. This was the first election where 16 and 17-year-olds could vote, following the enactment of Senedd and Elections Act in January 2020. The registration deadline for voters in this election was 11:59 p.m. The 19th of April 2021. The 2019 European Parliament election in the United Kingdom was the last of its kind. The newly formed Brexit Party came out on top in Wales. Plaid Cymru, who support full Welsh independence, came second, marking the first time it had beaten Labour in a Wales-wide election. The Brexit Party also formed a parliamentary group in the Assembly made up of the 4 ex-UK Independence Party members, led by Mark Reckless. A snap general election in the United Kingdom was held on the 12th of December 2019. Welsh Labour suffered an 8% drop in their vote and they were wiped out in North Wales. Except for Allen and Deeside, Labour ended up losing 6 parliamentary seats to the Welsh Conservatives in Boris Johnson's landslide victory. These seats included Bridgend, which has been represented on the Assembly level by former First Minister of Wales Carwyn Jones. Since the 1999 election, the Conservatives also picked up Brecon and Radnorshire from the leader of the Welsh Liberal Democrats Jane Dodds. On the 31st of January 2020, the United Kingdom left the European Union. This followed a referendum on the matter in which Wales narrowly voted to leave the EU. South Wales has been highlighted by many as evidence that Brexit was a cross-party issue, as those areas typically vote overwhelmingly for Labour. Blaenau Gwent, Torfaen, and Caerphilly all voted in favour of Brexit, and are all represented in the House of Commons of the United Kingdom by Labour MPs. Plaid Cymru campaigned for a Remain vote in the 2016 referendum on the UK's membership of the EU. Plaid Cymru later supported, during the final stages of Brexit process, a second referendum on the matter. Plaid Cymru argued that there should be a referendum on Welsh independence after Brexit, so that Wales could apply for EU membership. A June 2020 YouGov ITV Cymru poll concluded that 25% were in favour of independence and 54% opposed. The same poll found that 22% of respondents wanted no devolution in Wales, and that 25% were for abolition of the Senedd, with 48% opposed to abolition. A follow-up YouGov poll in August 2020 concluded that support for Welsh independence had risen to 32%. However, polling in February 2021 showed that support for abolition of the Senedd was outperforming support for independence. On the 17th of May 2020, Health Minister Warren Gething told ITV Wales it was possible that the election might not be allowed to happen because of the uncertainty of the COVID-19 pandemic. The First Minister announced on the 29th of June 2020 that a group with representatives from all of the main parties would look at the arrangements that might have to be in place for the election if COVID-19 restrictions are still required. It would look at campaigning and voting, gathering views over the summer so that by September, any changes the group feels would be beneficial can be considered and taken forward. There was no consensus to agree if a delay was needed. But all parties agreed on measures to encourage vulnerable voters and others to consider applying for a postal vote and early applications. Greater flexibility around the nomination of candidates, postal and proxy voting, and measures to ensure the safe operation of polling stations and count venues. The Wales Electoral Coordination Board said on the 5th of January 2021 that counting of Senedd election votes cannot be done overnight because of COVID restrictions. The board said that the count,